Welcome to the Scomis Masterclass. This Masterclass is aimed at schools or trusts who use Google Workspace as a learning platform and will discuss reviewing and improving your remote education provision in line with DfE guidance. This Masterclass is aimed at school leaders and school staff with responsibility for school improvement, teaching and learning. In this session, I will summarise the main themes from the recent DfE framework, which can be used to self-evaluate a school's remote education provision in relation to quality of teaching and learning, improved communication, collaboration, wider engagement, and efficient use of a digital learning platform such as Google Workspace. I will also mention some techniques and features of Google Workspace which schools and trusts have successfully adopted to achieve best practice. Please note that this session is not designed to be a training in the use of specific Google apps and tools, although hyperlinks to a wide range of training resources for Google Workspace can be found in the DfE framework. The terminology the DfE use for a remote teaching and learning system is a digital education platform. As you will be aware, a digital education platform is a space where pupils' learning can continue remotely outside of school. These platforms are specifically designed for the delivery of remote learning in an engaging and intuitive way that school websites and school email aren't. During recent school closures, a digital education platform became the closest alternative to a real classroom setting. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of new technologies within education. Many schools took advantage of DfE funding to commission a digital learning platform such as Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. This scheme is still running for schools who have not yet adopted a digital platform, although the cut-off date for online applications is now the end of next month. At the beginning of the pandemic, many schools were merely using this technology to distribute resources and allow students to submit work for assessment. But the need for online learning has forced schools to re-evaluate the way in which they work longer term. In developing contingency plans for the pandemic, the DfE expected schools to give pupils access to high-quality resources which are linked to the school's curriculum expectations, choose online tools that will be used consistently across the school in order to allow interaction, assessment and feedback, differentiate work and plan a programme that is of equivalent length to the core teaching that pupils would receive in school, including daily contact with their teachers. So in other words, the DfE expected schools to give their pupils a virtual equivalent of their normal school education using remote delivery methods. On the screen are some recent statements taken from the gov.uk website. Learning platforms are not just for providing remote education during lockdown or when students are shielding. The DfE is further encouraging the wider use of digital platforms by schools to help deal with the negative impact on children's education caused by the pandemic. With this in mind, the DfE have produced additional guidance for schools and school leaders. After the recent spending review last month, the DfE have made another 500,000 devices available to education establishments for use by disadvantaged children. Basically, it's another tranche of the previous DfE device scheme which ran until June 2021. More information can be found on the Get Help with Tech UK Gov website. Last month, the DfE published an updated Remote Education Provision Framework, which has been designed to support school leaders, assess their current practice, identify areas for development and strengthen their provision. A copy of this publication is available from the gov.uk website using the link shown. Essentially, the framework is a template for senior leadership discussions concerning remote education provision, based on previously published guidelines, research and evidence. The framework contains links to guidance documents published by bodies such as the Education Endowment Foundation, the EdTech Demonstrator Networks of Schools and Colleges, and the DfE itself, and other government-funded organisations who can assist with the delivery of safe, high-quality remote teaching and learning. This framework allows schools to self-assess the 6 main themes listed on the left on a score from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest score identifying gaps in provision and 5 being the highest score with provision being fully embedded. The framework provides a structure to identify strengths and gaps for internal stakeholder discussions, with suggested next steps for each category. In the following slides, we will have a look at these 6 main themes and suggest ways in which Google Workspace can be used for delivering best practice. The first theme covers leadership. A clearly articulated vision from school leadership as to the purpose and rationale for using technology is vital to successful implementation. A school should have systems in place to monitor and evaluate the impact of the use of technology on staff and all pupils. This theme highlights the importance of clear communication between school stakeholders regarding the school's arrangements for remote education. Fortunately, Google Workspace is collaborative by design and is an ideal means of communicating a school's vision to stakeholders. Google Classroom, which is part of Google Workspace, is a really intuitive classroom management tool which helps teachers easily share resources, have discussions, create, grade and collect assignments, and provides rich feedback using built-in grading tools. But Google Classroom can also be used for staff and departmental meetings to use as a collaborative communication tool. This means that senior leaders can use Google Classroom as a tool for sharing remote education plans, training guides, and resources. Many schools initially create a virtual staff room using Google Classroom as an easy way to securely collaborate and communicate with school colleagues. An added benefit is that it incentivizes school staff to access Google Classroom and experience the benefits of Google Classroom themselves. Different classrooms can be created for a range of different stakeholders, e.g. SLT, governors, staff, student council, etc., allowing easy and clear communication between school stakeholders wherever they are based, particularly useful for cascading and exchanging targeted information at scale across the trust or federation. Google Sites is a Google app which can be used to create, design and publish secure intranets for staff and students, or notice boards accessed by other members of the school community. Public-facing parent information pages can also be published by designated school staff and accessed via links and pages embedded within the school's website. Usage reports can be run from the Google Admin Console by designated staff users, giving senior leaders oversight on who is using the system, measuring staff and student engagement, allowing senior leaders to be aware of any barriers. All school policies, guides and staff resources can be hosted within the Google Workspace environment, meaning staff always have access to the latest up-to-date information. The Education Context Pupil Engagement theme asks schools to understand what resources and skills pupils and their family require for remote learning. This theme includes the use of assistive technology for pupils with SEND and how schools provide such resources. Pupils' access to technology has been an important factor affecting the extent to which children can effectively learn at home whilst being supported by their school. Limited access to technology and home internet remains a significant barrier for many disadvantaged children. A key benefit of cloud-based platforms is that they can be accessed via a web browser on most types of device, such as computer, iPad, smartphone, Chromebook, games consoles, Xbox, etc. This means that provision of school devices and internet can be targeted at disadvantaged pupils, as other pupils may already have access to a home device or smartphone. All pupils need is access to a device with a web browser and an internet connection. Many schools are further building on their digital learning foundations by deploying cost-effective cloud-managed devices to staff and students. Running services on the cloud means that schools can exploit the use of lower-cost internet-enabled devices. These types of devices can be a lower spec and therefore cheaper, as the software runs off the cloud platform rather than the device itself. Typically, Chromebook-type devices cost less than half the price of a traditional laptop. Not only do these devices have an extremely low technical maintenance and management overhead, they also start up within a few seconds and there is no disruption or delays due to operating system updates. This means that vital teaching time is not lost waiting for devices to start and update, and pupils do not require technical support when using the devices at home. Chromebook devices and many Google apps and tools have accessibility features built in, including screen readers, voice dictation typing, and braille displays. Chromebooks also have enhanced naturally sounding voice options for Select to Speak, which lets you hear selected text on your screen spoken out loud. This allows students with accessibility needs to work more independently, reducing the support required from parents, teachers, and teaching assistants. The third theme in the framework reviews curriculum planning and delivery. It looks at topics related to student learning, which supports hybrid learning, where a mixture of students are taught both on-site and off-site. Remote education should be to the same high standard as in-school provision, with pupils able to participate in whole class tasks as well as independent assignments. Many schools are still in the position where they have some pupils learning from home, but the majority of students are attending school. Hybrid learning is a term used to describe teaching pupils within school as well as teaching pupils virtually at home. The combination of delivering both on and off-site teaching simultaneously can be challenging. Potentially it's more difficult than either all online or all face-to-face within school. Fortunately, Google Workspace comes with digital tools which are ideal for combining in-school provision with remote learning. The trick with delivering hybrid learning is to exploit the digital tools in Google Workspace and Google Classroom to the best effect, without causing huge increases in workload. There are many free teaching resources available on the internet which can be effortlessly incorporated into class resources. Links to many of these resources can be found in the DFE framework document. It's all about working smarter rather than working harder, and it's not really about trying to change the way teachers teach. Teachers know how to teach. It's more about using the technology to deliver the learning in an engaging way. As learning platforms are collaborative by design, it is very easy to share teaching resources with colleagues across departments or schools and share the workload. Once a document is in electronic format, it can be quickly tweaked and tailored to meet a teacher's or pupil's specific requirements. Using Google Meet, teachers are able to present from their computer using a webcam in real time, or by presenting their computer screen. These live presentations can also be recorded by the teacher to allow pupils to watch and review lessons at a later date for reinforcement of concepts. This method of recording live lessons is often used for asynchronous teaching, where a teacher rotates between teaching pupils on a school site as well as remotely teaching pupils working from home. It has the added benefit that students can revisit lessons should they need to, ultimately freeing up teacher time. But presenting doesn't have to mean the use of teacher webcam and streaming video. Although seeing a teacher's face on the screen will help learners feel engaged and foster pupil-teacher rapport. Teachers can also present classroom slides to pupils, and if the slides include video and audio, pupils at home can also see and hear this. This means pupils at home can follow lesson content in real time and participate with the live class. It's important that pupils at home have a similar experience to any face-to-face pupils in the classroom. This facilitates equity between pupils working in school and remotely. A self-marking quiz or survey form can be a great way of reducing workload and obtaining valuable individual feedback from students. The upfront time to create the quiz is offset by the automated marking and grading. These quizzes can be amended and tweaked for use with future classes and repurposed. They can also be shared with others. So for example, a school office could create a parental survey form and share it out via an email link with parents. Parents can complete and see their answers, but only the form owner would see everyone's responses. The answers can be displayed visually, which is really useful for analysing results. The fourth theme in the framework is all about capacity and capability, supporting staff, empowering them to deliver high quality education. Information for schools containing links to resources can be found in the DfE publication shown. This guidance is designed to help schools educate children during the coronavirus outbreak and outline the range of DfE support that is available to schools. The DfE has identified over 20 schools and colleges who can act as mentors to other schools. They are able to provide free peer support and training. These schools have been funded by the DfE to provide additional training and support to schools, including strategic and change management support in the adoption of a learning platform. A full list of EdTech demonstrator schools can be found on the DfE website. Links to resources created by the EdTech demonstrator schools can be found in the DfE benchmarking document. Resources are from a mixture of Google and Microsoft schools, as well as a mixture of primary, secondary schools and colleges. I would encourage schools to access these resources, as they are provided by real educators and school leaders. As such, they often contain lots of helpful ideas for things that have worked in real-life situations. The fifth theme covers communication and the importance of communicating clear expectations for pupils and parents, the need to maintain a strong sense of school community, and regular opportunities to participate in shared events and activities. A teacher or school administrator can invite a guardian to receive email summaries about their child's work in class. To get summaries, the students must use Google Classroom with a Google Workspace account. Great care has to be taken when setting up guardian summaries, but it can be a very effective tool for engaging with parents and ensuring that communication between home and school is maintained, which can help support pupil behaviour. The final theme in the DfE framework concerns safeguarding and well-being. Keeping pupils, students and teachers safe during remote education is essential. Teachers delivering remote education online should be aware that the same principles set out in the school or college staff behaviour policy, sometimes known as the Code of Conduct, will apply. It's essential to have and communicate clear reporting routes so that pupils, students, teachers, parents and carers can raise any safeguarding concerns in relation to remote online education. Once again, links to safeguarding resources and guidance for school leaders can be found in the benchmarking document. Google Workspace has a full audit trail of interactions between users via the admin console. As we come to the end of this presentation, I would like to quickly mention some Scomis services which can benefit schools in relation to Google Workspace. As well as providing MIS support and hosting, Scomis offer a range of technical and training services to support a wide range of IT platforms and solutions. Our remote backup services allow schools to protect both their critical on-premise and critical cloud data. Having a separate secure backup solution is vital for swift operational recovery should the worst happen and your school or learning platform fall victim to a malware or ransomware attack. Our infrastructure services will ensure that your school has secure local networks and wireless. Our device procurement services assist with the procurement of virus-proof devices such as Chromebooks. We also offer both on-site and remote technical support and assistance with Windows networks, iPads, Chromebooks, as well as digital education platforms such as Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. Scomis are a Microsoft and Google partner. As such, we can provide audits to ensure that any cloud platforms and systems that have been set up by schools during the pandemic are secure and fit for purpose. For more information about future Scomis masterclasses or any of our services, please visit our website www.scomis.org or speak with your Scomis account manager. Finally, I just want to thank you for taking the time to join the event today. Thank you very much.